Good day to everybody. Welcome back to the Formula Sports channel. Thanks for being here. In this video, we will be speaking on the Jamaica U20 game versus the Trinidad and Tobago U20 team. This is the second leg. The first leg ended 3-2 in favor of the Trinidadians. We have now won the second leg 3-1. The young Reggae Boys would have come back for revenge in this particular game and got said revenge with a much improved performance than their first outing against this TNT U20 team. And all in all, I think the game was a satisfactory performance from the young Reggae Boys. And I'm pleased with the overall series. The young Reggae Boys improved from game to game, looked better with each passing game, played better with each passing game. And I'm sure the players and the coaching staff would have learned a lot from these series of games, these 3 consecutive matches. I think would have gone a long way in being decent preparation for the upcoming U20 World Cup qualifiers, right? In this game, the young Reggae Boys took the lead very early in the game, doubled their advantage very early in the game, and scored the third goal very early in the game. So they basically killed off this game from very early in the game. From in like the first 25 or so minutes, they were up 3-0. And that, with that being said, even before the first goal was scored, the young Reggae Boys missed a penalty and also missed a few chances as well, right? The first 5 minutes or so, they had a barrage of chances and, failed to put the ball in the back of the net. But the first 25 minutes, the young Reggae Boys were absolutely dominant all over their Trinidadian counterparts, and it really seemed as if they were going to blow the Trinidad U20 team, like blow them away, like knock them out the ballpark, so to speak, right? They were pressing intensely in the first 25 minutes. They were progressing the ball well in the first 25 minutes, progressing it through the respective thirds. The build-up was, very good. They were getting into the final third with relative ease in the first 25 minutes. They transitioned the ball relatively quickly right throughout the entirety of this game. Throughout the entirety of the game, whenever they were in attacking transition, they moved the ball from back to front relatively quickly. However, the Trinidadians, round about midway the first half, started to come into their own, started to get into the game. They started the game very slowly, but they started to get back into the game. And probably the last 10-15 minutes of the first half started to dominate the game. The Reggae Boys were the ones that were employing the front press. The young Reggae Boys were the ones employing the front press in the first half of the first half. However, the Trinidadians were the ones that started to apply a very intense front press, intensely pressing the Jamaicans all over the park, started to employ a lot of physicality, just real out-and-out aggression from the Trinidadian U20 team. They were getting really aggressive, very focused on ball retention, quickly retaining the ball, and aggressively, pursuing the football, just basically trying to retrieve possession in advanced areas of the pitch and really doing so very intensely. The moral of the story is that physicality and that aggression just really started to get to our boys, right? And it unsettled our players. And I also think that they started to get a bit complacent as well, given the fact that they were already up 3-0. And the Trinidad and Tobago U20 team really and truly dominated us for like the last 10-15 minutes of the first half and made us very uncomfortable, right? As a matter of fact, in that time period as well, there were yellow cards flying all over the place, to give you an example of how physical and how aggressive the game was becoming or how physical and aggressive the Trinidadians were making the game, right? And, within that 10 to 15 minute period, the Trinidadians got a few big chances. They hit the post twice through a free kick and through a long range effort. And then eventually, scored the goal and we conceded. Our 3 goals that we scored, that's the one criticism I have of the 3 goals that we scored, because one of them, well, all 3 of them were basically, with the exception of the free kick, the first 2 were accidental. The free kick rather from Denzel McKenzie was very good. A peach of a free kick. It was a brilliant goal. The first 2 goals, however, the first goal was a misplaced cross that somehow, some way ended up in the back of the net. The second goal, to be fair, the build-up play leading to it was very good. However, it was an own goal, right? So there was a lot of fortune in us taking the lead and being up 3-0 very early in the game. However, to be fair to the young Reggae Boyz, they did apply a lot of pressure and pressure bust spike. We conceded our goal very carelessly, right? It was a poor back pass, and the goalkeeper, one, misjudged the flight of the ball. That's Joshua Grant, good young goalkeeper, was our keeper starting keeper in the U17s. He misjudged the flight of the ball, and 2, he allowed it to bounce. Terrible mistake all around at the back. We conceded a goal that was a very poor goal, and we saw less of the mistakes, the further along we went into the series. But a number of the goals that we did concede, basically all 4 goals that were conceded in this 3-game series were terrible mistakes. So we definitely need to work on that going forward. So that's basically a brief summary of the first half. The second half, basically, we came out, we started the second half like how we started the first half, took control, applied the front press again. We're playing on the front foot, progressing the ball well, good combination play. You saw good patterns of play. You saw, a structure within how the young Reggae Boyz were building up, and that probably lasted for the, that period of the second half in which we controlled the second half, lasted for about the first 20 minutes of the second half, and again Trinidad were allowed to play their way back into the game. However, they didn't control the second half of the second half like they controlled the second half of the first half. It was more even Steven. So the first 20 minutes of the second half, our boys were in control. The next 25 or so minutes of the second half, it was more even Stevens, more of an open game, back and forth kind of a game. We attacked them, they attacked us. However, even though it was a relatively open game, not a lot of real clear-cut chances were created by both teams in that period. Overall, I think we were the better team overall in this game, but probably not as better than our Trinidadian counterparts as the scoreline suggests we were. I think this was more of like a 2-1 game rather than a 3-1 game. I think we were slightly better. We had longer periods of dominance. We had, Trinidad only really had one period of dominance. Even though they played their way back into the game in the second half, it was even Stevens. They didn't control the game, right? So I think we were the better team in this period, or rather for this game, we were the slightly better team, and I think we deserve to win the game, but we do still have criticisms of this particular performance. Yes, better team. Yes, we created the more chances and more. Trinidad didn't really, especially in the second half, they didn't really create a lot of clear-cut chances, right? Throughout the entirety of the game, we created clear-cut chances. We should have, to be fair, we probably should have scored more goals, right? To be fair. The criticisms that I have of the Young Reggae Boyz in this game, we struggled when we were approached with physicality. That's a real problem. A lot of fans of the Young Reggae Boyz, you know, our followers, you know, the Jamaican footballing fans following the progress of the U20 team, a lot of them have been criticizing the size of the team. You know, the team is not the largest team. The players are relatively short and, you know, don't really have a lot of body, right? And they struggled when approached with real physicality from the young Trinidadians. We could be more consistent as it relates to controlling the game. You know, we had long periods where we controlled the game, yes, true, but we allowed Trinidad back into the game, so we have to work on that going forward. We can't, you know, we can't be allowing teams back into the game. If we're going to control the game, we're going to control the game, and we should be looking to, if we have the ability to control the game for such long periods, that means we have the ability to control the game for most of the game. I don't know, probably that's a bit of a harsh comment, right? And I also noticed as well that one of the moments of the game we were not the best in, and that is set pieces. You know, I think that the young Reggae Boyz can improve where set pieces are concerned. You know, yes, for instance, we scored from a free kick in this game, you know, and also, if memory serves me right, it was a short corner the first goal came off of, which was entirely accidental. But a lot of good set-piece opportunities, I think, were wasted by the Young Reggae Boyz across the series, across the entire three-game series. So I think that is something that the Young Reggae Boyz need to work on going forward. You know, all in all, though, encouraging performances, and it's good to see that the team is getting better with each passing game. The very first thing that Jamaican footballing fans look at when we look at any national team that represents Jamaica is how the team looks in build-up, in attacking transition. Do we see structure? Do we see good combination play? Do we see patterns of play? Right? And I saw that right through the series. Yes, there were times when it could have been better executed and also more consistent, right? But the most important thing is that I saw structure, and, you know, that's the biggest thing we as Jamaican footballing fans look at. And, you know, I'm comfortable with what I saw where that is concerned. However, there are other aspects as well that the Young Reggae Boyz need to improve on going forward. But I am optimistic going into the upcoming U20 World Cup qualifiers. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this game and also the entire series. Looking forward to your comments. Take care, guys. Stay safe, and until next time.